I swear we're getting to the point now where the whole show is about the dual justice system. Dual justice for Democrat voters. They get to vote, after the election date. That's fine. Democrat judge certifies that. That'd be okay. And now dual justice demanded at our border in order to erode it completely from existing. Did you hear this? Folks, there are 5 top Democrat presidential candidates right now. Among them is Kamala Harris. She's a Democrat senator from California, of course. Okay, she's not joking here. She's grilling the guy, the new director of ICE, right, which is the Border Enforcement Agency. She's grilling him at the Senate hearing. For those of you joining us for the first time, you'll never hear this on CNN. It's what really goes on in our country, not the sanitized version you get there on CNN and the other places that you're used to listening to. I know when you first tune into the show, it's a bit of a shock because you're hearing things you'd never heard before. And the human brain, the way that it works, you must assume that I am making them up because you've never heard this before. No, this is the country you actually live in. In her own words, Kamala Harris getting into it with the director, the guy they're confirming in the Senate to be the director of ICE, suggesting that ICE is like the KKK. That they are racist and hated because they make immigrants feel uncomfortable. She means illegal immigrants at the border. Yeah, that's their job. They're supposed to repel them from our border. Listen to this. This is mainstream Democrat thought.
Well, the Klan was what we would call today a domestic terrorist group.
Why?
Because they tried to use fear and force to change political environment.
And what was the motivation for the use of fear and force?
It was based on race and ethnicity.
Right. Are you aware of the perception of many about how the power and the discretion at ICE is being used to enforce the laws? And do you see any parallels?
I do not see any parallels between sworn
I'm talking about perception.
Officers and agents.
I'm talking about perception.
I do not see a parallel between what is constitutionally mandated as it relates to enforcing the law.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
That puts ICE in the same category as the KKK.
Wow. She continues.
ICE is administering its power in a way that is causing fear and intimidation, particularly among immigrants and specifically among immigrants coming from Mexico and Central America. Are you aware of that perception?
I do not see a parallel between the power and the authority that ICE has to do its job and the agents and officers who do it professionally and excellently with lots of compassion.
Sir, how can you be the head of an agency and be unaware of how your agency is perceived by certain communities?
There is a lot of perceptions in the media and in the public that are incorrect.
Good for him for sticking up for ICE. Okay, let me explain this to you because this is, if you're new to this show, you're new to the actual reality we live in this country, rather than the sanitized version you're getting from the mainstream media. Let me explain to you what's going on here. Okay, the Democrat position in the Senate on ICE. They're the guys who enforce our borders, right? Instead of just letting, Taliban in, ISIS in, whoever wants to come. These guys in ICE, okay? The position of people like Senator Mazie Hirono in the Senate and other Democrats is that illegal immigration should be treated as a civil violation. So you just get a ticket. You come to the border, you're here illegally, you get a ticket, they give you one. They give you a court date to show up, but they don't stop you. That's what they have publicly suggested they want ICE to do, is treat it as a civil, not a criminal, civil violation. And that is a human rights violation to treat it as a criminal violation when they break our laws. And so you're not to stop them. You're not, and Mazie Hirono, a senator, gave a long speech on this. You're not to stop them. You are not to ask questions. Hey, is that child with you a child you're sex trafficking, or is that your daughter who you're bringing with you while breaking into the country? Not allowed to do that. Can't separate family units. Have to let them just pass on by. No questions asked. You gonna prostitute the child in the country? No big deal. That's fine. That's okay as long as the child eventually votes Democrat. It's okay. It's okay. You're both illegal immigrants. Totally cool. Okay. You're not supposed to stop them. Okay, that's their definition of what we should be doing at the border. So you have to understand this is why they're comparing ICE to the KKK. This is why they're comparing ICE to Nazis. This is why Kamala Harris, an actual sitting senator of the United States of America who is running for president, has compared ICE to terrorists because they do what the Democrats don't want them to do. They actually stop the illegals. They question them. And they do this using a criminal statute. They don't want that. They want that to be treated, like a jaywalking violation. Here's your ticket, or like a speeding violation, get a speeding ticket. You come back to the car, you come back to court. No, go get a job, break our laws. No. That's fine. But no, it's got to be civil. So when you actually stop them, what she's saying in the second clip there, Kamala Harris is, well, you're causing terrorizing illegal immigrants. Well, yeah, they're supposed to stop them. They're the law. But the Democrats don't want that. See what I'm saying? And so, of course, the illegal immigrants are terrorized by ICE. They don't want to be stopped. Like you or I are stopped every time we do something criminal. I expect to be stopped, don't you? I expect to be stopped by the law. They shouldn't expect to be stopped. Again, dual justice. They are future Democrat voters and thus are not subject to the law. Any more than a homeless person in San Francisco pooping on the sidewalk. Democrat voter not subject to the law. See how this works? So that's what she's referring to. This is why this sounds so bizarro. It's not that ICE is doing anything illegal or wrong. They're not. In fact, the Democrats can't point to a single case where that has happened. They're just angry that ICE is enforcing the laws that Congress has passed.